Hi everyone, it's Kevin here. Kyle's with me this
Hello.
time. Been a while since I've done one of these, but we wanted to sit down and talk with you. We've both done our advising for the coming year, coming semester, and wanted to fill you in on how that's going. So what classes are you going to be taking next semester?
This next semester is going to be a very busy one for me. Taking 21 credits, doing got to do the second half of Beginning Modern Greek. I have to do Byzantine Chant 4, service rubrics, which is replacing the requirement for Byzantine Chant 6 as of last year. Then I'm taking Community Engagement 2, and then Syriac.
Oh wow! Yeah. So I'm going to be doing the Preaching Practicum and Holy Week seminar this coming semester. Those of you back at St. Anna's, I will not be there for the first few days of Holy Week. Parish Administration 2, Pastoral Theology 2. I'm also going to be doing Advanced Chant in English, and I have to take a New Testament exegesis course. There are several possibilities.
Oh, that's what I forgot. I knew I was forgetting something.
Oh.
Gospel of Matthew class.
Yeah, so depending on my schedule, probably it's going to be Gospel of Matthew.
Hey, we'll be in the same class.
So yeah, we'll be in the same class with that. There's also one on the Gospel of John and one on Romans and Galatians. It's largely going to depend on my schedule.
Yeah.
And
for some reason, I think the Gospel of John class doesn't count as the exegesis. For some reason,
yeah, I'll have to double check
because Dr. Beck he told me to do Matthew for that reason, as opposed to the John one. I don't. Yeah, well, you talk to him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I will definitely talk to him about that. Yeah, and also we'll be continuing my course on spiritual direction at Boston College, which is a 2-semester course. I'm wrapping up the first semester. We're about halfway, a little bit more than halfway through right now.
The semester?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess technically.
Yeah, midterm.
I'm nearing the end, basically.
Yeah, well, midterms is over now. Which at least mine, I think, went pretty well. Haven't gotten the grades back on a couple things. But.
I've gotten all mine back. Pretty much all mine were A's, thank God.
Good, yeah.
But because of the mission trip I'm going on to Kenya, I have to have all my work for the semester done by Thanksgiving break.
Oof.
So I'm nearly done.
What's this mission trip you're doing?
Doing a trip to Kenya to the St. Clement's School right outside of Nairobi. It's a school for kids, so we're going to be teaching different topics. I should know actually within the next day or two what topics I have to teach on. So yeah, should be fun. Should be a blessing.
So today is Sunday, the 5th of November. I was at my parish assignment this morning in Pawtucket at Father Philip Zamaris's parish, who teaches liturgics here, and where I did the children's sermon. I've also been teaching Sunday school. Had a really good time today. A really great group of kids. I'm focusing on 5th and 6th grade is my assignment with that. And today we're working our way through the Old Testament. Today we talked about Isaac and God's promise to Abraham, the birth of Isaac and the binding of Isaac. They asked some really good questions about sacrifice there. So next week, we're going to take a quick break and detour into talking about the atonement and Christ's death on the cross.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So how was church for you this morning?
It was wonderful as always. I went to Toxiarchy in Watertown and went with Father Nick. Father Nick and President Teretina send their love to everyone at St. Anna's. Mm-hmm. No, it was wonderful. I also helped with Sunday school afterwards. Mm-hmm. We talked primarily about the gospel reading with the rich man and Lazarus. Mm-hmm. The kids didn't have as many questions, but they did have some interesting, just random observations, things that I've never really noticed, such as the fact that the chasm between the rich man and Lazarus, when spoken about the chasm, Abraham states how so one can't cross to the other. It's not explicitly just that the ones in Hades can't go to the bosom of Abraham, but also the other way around too. Which, I mean, I guess I always knew that, but it's not something I ever really figured out or thought of in itself.
Yeah. So what I talked about this morning when I did my little short 10-minute talk on the gospel reading was first of all that it's and this is something that we know from biblical scholarship, is that what Christ is doing here is he's taking a fairly common story or story type from that time period in that place in the ancient Near East, where there are examples of this sort of thing where you have two people who die and someone, usually the narrator, takes a trip through the afterlife or through the underworld and sees the rewards or punishments that these people are subject to. And there's examples from Egyptian literature, importantly from other Jewish literature, Hebrew literature from that time period. So, in the context of the Gospel of Luke, where this story occurs, Christ is responding to accusations by the Pharisees, who Luke says were lovers of money. So the point that is important with this gospel reading, with this story, is that Christ is taking a story, a fairly common story, that the Pharisees would have known, that the people present at the time he told this would have known, and putting some twists to it in order to make a point about wealth, primarily. As the Apostle Luke's concern for the poor, for the marginalized, which of course is a concern Christ had, but it's made very clear in Luke. This is one of many points in Luke's gospel account where Jesus comes down with a very, very strong condemnation of the accumulation of wealth and establishing, in keeping with the prophetic tradition of the Hebrew people, of God's preference, God's constant attitude of support being on the side of the poor, the marginalized, the outcast. As it says in the book of Psalms, and particularly God upholds the widow, the fatherless, the orphan. In the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about how God is on the side even of the alien or the immigrant, in people who don't have anyone to advocate for them. And you can read people like Hosea and Amos and their words about the wealthy of Jerusalem, for example. And I think that the important thing to remember about this is that it is not so much a discussion about the afterlife, so to speak, as it is a discussion about the dangers that wealth and money and power pose. God is opposed to wealth, not necessarily because money in and of itself is inherently evil, but because of the destruction that it does to the soul, and how being exploitative and oppressive to the poor is evil, and how the accumulation of wealth and power is really only possible through oppression and exploitation. So I obviously didn't use those words necessarily in my discussion with the kids, but I think that's the more important piece. And with regards to the chasm, this is one of the things that's key to where you can tell that this isn't really a story about the afterlife, is because we believe that Christ did in fact cross that chasm. He descended into Hades, into hell, to as we sing in the funeral service, in the memorial service, that you are the God who descended into Hades and undid the bonds of those that were chained there. So that's an important piece to remember with regards to that. So those are some of my thoughts on the gospel reading from this morning. I hope they're illuminating and helpful to you. I also wanted to say to the people of St. Anna's, thank you very much for the care package. It arrived about a week ago. Its contents have not survived to now. The cookies were especially very delicious.
Oh yeah.
So.
No, likewise. I sent a thank you letter. So, but I will say in person, thank you very much for the care package. Yes, I have like one or two of the packaged ones left, but basically everything is gone. I devoured it
very quickly.
Not good for my health, but I will gladly do so.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I at least will get another video out in another week or two. And Father Chris, I am working on the liturgy book. I'll get that to you soon.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.